Hello there.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What's up everybody, Josh here with Lorgasm, and today let's talk about episode 2 of WandaVision. Now this episode is in black and white just like the last one, and it starts off with Wanda and Vision in their bedroom when they hear a bang on the window. Wanda wakes up and turns the light on. Vision wakes up and says one of them should check on it, and Wanda says yeah, one of us should. So then Vision gets up and checks, and she asks if he sees anything. He doesn't, and he turns around and then hears a bang again, and then jumps into bed, and Wanda pulls the beds together, and then Wanda flicks open the window with her magic and sees it's only a branch hitting the window. Vision then comments on the redecoration of the beds together, so Wanda turns it into one big blanket, and then he says get the lights, and then they bang. It doesn't show the banging, it just implies that they bang. We then get the intro, which is in the style of Bewitched, and the music's really catchy. After that, it cuts to their living room, which is a different living room than episode 1, so they have a whole new set. And Vision is practicing his magic act for the fundraiser for the children. Vision brings up the concern that everyone will be able to see through the illusion, and Wanda says that's the point. This kind of magic everyone knows is fake. Wanda then says she has to get ready for the party planning committee, and Vision said he has to get ready for going to the neighborhood watch meeting at the library. It then cuts to Wanda cleaning up the house before she gets ready to leave, and there is a bang, so she goes outside and she finds a red helicopter sitting in her bushes, and this red is super obvious, bouncing off the black and white everything else. And on the helicopter there is a yellow sword logo. And as she's examining it, Agnes comes up with her rabbit and says, look, it's the star of the show. But before showing the rabbit, Wanda's just like, what? And that could mean a few things. It could mean pointing out that Wanda is the star of the show and breaking the fourth wall. It could mean Wanda is the star of this little show that Agnes is putting on because she's controlling everything. Or she actually means her rabbit, Senior Scratchy, which just happens to have the similar name to one of Mephisto's alter egos, Mr. Scratchy. As Wanda is taking Senior Scratchy inside, Agnes has a weird interaction with the mailman where she says hi to him, and then she holds up fake guns and he says, oh, don't shoot the messenger, and then she goes pew pew pew, and that could be hinting towards she's getting rid of people who are trying to come in and send messages to Wanda, because as we can see from the helicopter, it is facing as if it is flying away from Agnes's house. So it flew over her house, and then it got turned into the toy helicopter and landed in the bushes. And we know her house is in that direction because she says she is a neighbor of Wanda in the first episode. And in this episode, we go to the other neighbor of Wanda, which is Dottie, the party planning committee leader. So that means the helicopter flew over Agnes's house before it landed in the bushes. After that, Agnes and Wanda walk over to Dottie's house, and Wanda asks about her clothes, and Agnes says they're not good. They really don't match the style of anybody else in the episode. She wears more of like I feel like a 90s outfit. It's kind of like a floral pattern in a way. There's a cardigan, a shirt, and then she wears pants, while everybody else is wearing more of like the 1950s, 60s, 70s era skirt and top. And then Agnes says like, oh, she needs to be on point with everything because Dottie's Queen Bee, and then Wanda's like, oh, can't I just be myself? And Agnes like laughs at her. Dottie then comes out of her house with the rest of the committee, and they head towards the city pool, and Wanda and Agnes join them. It also seems like everybody on the committee wants to impress Dottie. They all have like snacks in their hands, like trays of cookies and stuff, so everybody's trying to suck up to her. After that, we cut to the committee meeting, and some interesting things happen during this meeting. Dottie says the devil's in the details, and then Agnes leans over to Wanda and says that's not the only place he is. Mephisto. The whole time Agnes is drinking. Then we meet Geraldine, and Geraldine is played by the same actress that's playing Monica Rambeau, and we know by the teaser trailers for the show that at some point Monica Rambeau gets kicked out of the bubble that this town is taking place in. So I don't know if that means that at some point she's gonna like break from her trance that she's in and just get kicked because Wanda like kicks her out or what. And I only say that because Wanda has like interesting things that happen in this episode that kind of hint towards that she has the power to do that. Also during the meeting, Wanda is trying to copy everything Dottie does to like how she puts sugar in her tea and everything to try to fit in. Dottie comments about how Wanda's talking to Geraldine instead of paying attention. She says for the children, everyone else says for the children, and then Wanda's delayed in saying for the children. For the children is kind of weird. It's like a cultish thing that's going on. Everyone's just saying it. It gets said like 5 or 6 times in the episode. We then cut over to the public library where Vision comes in and starts asking the neighborhood watch about like what their plans are for everything, of how to like catch bad guys and stuff. And they turn out to be just a group of guys hanging out eating danishes and gossiping about everything. Like they talk about how the boss from the last episode, Mr. Hart, his first name's Arthur, that he got all of his trophies, his bowling trophies, from Hackensack, which is in New Jersey, which means the city they're in, Westville, takes place in New Jersey. They offer Vision a Danish. He says, "Oh no, I don't eat." And then he retracts that statement and says he only eats during meal times, not in between meal times. One of them offers him a piece of gum and he starts chewing it. He makes jokes with everybody. He calls one of them a commie. Everyone starts laughing, even though I think he was kind of serious. The way his face looks when everyone starts laughing is like he wasn't expecting them to laugh because he really meant what he said. So one of them, Norm, might be a communist. Not 100% on that. But one of them was like, "Oh, I'm happy." The one who gave him the piece of gum was like, "Oh, we're happy that you're, actually fun. We thought you were more of like a stick in the mud." And they tap him on the back, and when they do that, he chokes on the gum and then swallows it, and then it starts gumming up his gears. And then after that, we cut to Wanda and Dottie cleaning up. Well, it's mainly just Wanda cleaning up, and she wants to try to reconcile with Dottie and get on the right foot. And Dottie's like, "I've heard about you and your husband." And Wanda's like, "I don't know what you heard, but we don't mean you guys any harm." And Dottie's like, "I don't believe you." And then Wanda just stares at her, and then the radio changes from the Beach Boys to crackling, and we hear Jimmy Woo, the FBI agent from Ant-Man that is working for SWORD now, and he's asking Wanda, "Who's doing this to you? What's happening?" And then Dottie looks at her and it says, "Who's that? Who are you?" And Wanda just kind of bugs out, and then the radio blows up and the glass that Dottie's holding shatters in her hand and she starts bleeding. Wanda gets her a towel, and Dottie says the only way a woman could get blood out of white linen is by doing it herself, which was a weird little comment to make. And then after that, I'm pretty sure it cuts to the second commercial of the season. If you remember, the first commercial was the Stark toaster, which beeped a lot as if it was going to explode. And then this commercial is for the Strucker watch, which looked clean. And it had a Hydra symbol on it. And it said it was Swiss made. I feel like it should have said it was German made. One, I'm pretty sure Strucker is a German name, von Strucker. 2, Hydra is known as a Nazi sympathizing regime. Even though, yes, Hydra was around before the Nazis, most people still see them as Nazis. And then now this episode gives more of a clue to what these commercials are about. At first I thought the first episode, the toaster was Stark made, so I figured that represented Vision, because Vision is technically Stark made. And then the second episode, the watch, is Hydra made, or made by von Strucker. And then Wanda's made by Strucker. But with the constant beeping of the toaster, it makes me think more of something exploding. And since this is mainly a show about Wanda, even though it's called WandaVision, but it's mainly about Wanda and going into how she's having a mental breakdown, I feel like the beeping is supposed to represent a bomb or a missile which killed her parents, and then next, years later, how she got her powers by spending time with Strucker, the Hydra agent, and a watch represents time, so the commercials are just going through traumatic events in Wanda's life. After that, we cut to the fundraiser, where it's almost time for Wanda and Vision to go on and do their magic act. Vision hasn't shown up yet. Wanda's getting worried, and then Vision shows up and he's acting like he's drunk, but it's really because the gum is gumming up his gears. But if it was a normal sitcom, it'd be because he's drunk. Vision then goes on stage and starts doing his magic act, except he starts using actual magic, so he starts floating, and Wanda has to keep using her powers to counteract his powers. So when he starts floating, she creates a rope and a lever to make it look like she's lifting him up. He lifts up the piano, and she turns it into like a cardboard piano and lifts it up. And then he gets his box out, and he forgets to put Wanda in it, and he uses the magic words, and everyone starts chanting what's in the box. And Wanda realizes that if she doesn't have something in the box, that the show's going to be a bust, so she manifests Geraldine in the box, even though she was behind stage working on everything. They leave the stage, and then Wanda's asking Vision why he's acting so weird, and then she sees that he has gum stuck in him, so she pulls it out, and he starts acting normal again. They start trying to get away before anyone notices, and then they get called up to stage because they won the funniest act award because everyone was loving it. And then For the Children was said again. Geraldine asked them how she got in the box, and they said a magician never reveals their secret. Then they go home and they're just talking about how good everything went, and then they said For the Children, and then Wanda says she wants to get some popcorn for the children. And then next thing you know, she's pregnant, and then they're about to kiss because of the excitement, and they hear a bang, so they go outside, and then they see somebody in a beekeeper outfit crawling out of the sewer, and this was so weird. But then Wanda just says no, and then reverses time, and then her and Wanda actually kiss, and then everything starts to become colorized, and then the episode ends, and all we hear is Jimmy Woo in the background saying, Wanda, Wanda, what's happening? Wanda, where are you? Who's doing this to you? Now, I'd give this episode a solid 9 out of 10. And if they keep doing better and better with each of these episodes, then this whole series is probably going to be a 10 out of 10. I heard they had like a $20 million budget or 20-something million dollar budget, and they haven't really used any of that budget so far. So everything has been like old-fashioned practical effects with maybe some slight CGI. Now I know a lot of the budgets can go into the different sets, because I'm assuming it's going to be every episode's going to be like a new house set, but that's still like they got a lot to be spending. And I heard these last 3 or 4 episodes are going to be crazy, so hopefully it's going to be good. Episode 3 is going to be in color, so that's a plus, even though I didn't mind the black and white. I really liked how this episode was showing more powers, so we just keep getting more and more powers from Wanda. We saw the reverse time power in episode 1. This episode we get manifestation powers and teleportation powers. Episode 3 is going to be in color, so that's a plus, even though I didn't mind the black and white. This episode we get manifestation powers and teleportation powers. She was able to, I want to say transmute, because she changed the piano into a cardboard piano. So we're just keep getting more and more powers for Wanda, and it's really dope. But yeah, solid 9 out of 10. I cannot wait for episode 3. I was thinking about doing a theory video of what I think is going to start happening, but I might wait until episode 3 comes out just to get more information. But I think that's everything I got for you today. So thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.